Hello. You think you know a lot about me already, don't you? But you don't. You don't know my life. In fact, I lead a very exciting life. I live in France. Allons enfants de la patrie. I live in a tall apartment building. I live in an apartment and I live right next to the Seine. I live in Paris. Do you know Paris? Elle recoule, coule, coule autour. Non. Dès qu'elle entre dans Paris, elle s'enroule, roule autour. No. You don't. You don't believe what I've told you? I don't live in France? Well, you're right, I live in the United States. Okay, I live in the United States, and I don't live in an apartment way up high. It's true, I live in a little house, and I don't live in the city of Paris. No, I guess I don't. I've been there once, but I live in the country, but you've seen right through me. Well, just a second here. Let's talk about Miguel and Marie here, where they live, Like Miguel. Miguel lives in the city. He doesn't live in the country. He lives in Mexico. He doesn't live in the United States. He lives in an apartment. He doesn't live in a house, of course. And Marie here, Marie lives in France, the lucky girl. She doesn't live in the United States or in Mexico. She doesn't live in the country. She lives in the city of Paris. Do you know that song, Marie?
No, I don't.
Oh. Anyway, and she doesn't live in a house. She lives in an apartment. Okay, so you've seen me doing this. What's this? Well, this is the symbol that corresponds to this idea. I live in the United States. I don't live in France. And he doesn't live in an apartment. He lives in a house. And she doesn't live in the country. She lives in the city. So in this lesson, what you're learning about is don't and doesn't. How to make a sentence negative. For example, let me ask you a question. You don't know questions yet. That's next lesson, but you'll probably figure this out. Do you live in the city? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, some people, for example, Ahmed over there in Egypt. Ahmed said, yes, I live in the city. But what was your name? Ivan over there in Russia, you said no. Niet. I don't live in the city. I live in the country. So we say, I don't, you don't, she doesn't, he doesn't, but we, for example, Miguel and I, we don't live in France. He lives in Mexico. I live in the United States. So we say we don't, but you or you don't, and they, for example, excuse me, Marie, come on over here. Marie and Michael, or Miguel, excuse me, they don't live in the United States. And so we say they don't. I don't live. You don't live. Marie, go on back over there, would you? Thank you. She doesn't live. He doesn't live. We, sorry you two, don't live. And they don't live. I don't, you don't, he doesn't, she doesn't, you don't, they don't. Oh, sorry, we don't and they don't. All right? That's what this lesson is about. How to make a sentence negative. Go ahead. You may do the exercises, and I'll see you in the next lesson when we learn how to form a question. Bye-bye.